Vladimir Putin on the peace agreement that had been agreed to by Ukraine and Russia that was destroyed by the West's interference.
Will there be talks, and why haven't there been talks about resolving the conflict in Ukraine, peace talks?
They have been. They reached a very high stage of coordination of positions in a complex process, but still they were almost finalized. But after we withdrew our troops from Kiev, as I have already said, the other side threw away all these agreements and obeyed the instructions of Western countries, European countries, and the United States to fight Russia to the bitter end. Moreover, the President of Ukraine has legislated a ban on negotiating with Russia. He signed a decree forbidding everyone to negotiate with Russia. But how are we going to negotiate if he forbade himself and everyone to do this? We know that he is putting forward some ideas about this settlement, but in order to agree on something, we need to have a dialogue.
There you go. There's the facts straight from the horse's mouth. And guess who squelched that early peace deal in March of 2022? It was Boris Johnson. And then, of course, this information was lampooned as misinformation by the mainstream media and corporate press. But then we have this little interview with a Ukrainian negotiator. Watch this, folks.
Moment in the group of Ukrainian negotiators, we negotiate with Russian delegation practically 2 months, in March and April, the possible peaceful settlement agreement between Ukraine and Russia. And we, as you remember, concluded so-called Istanbul Communique. And we were very close in the middle of April, in the end of April, to finalize our war with some peaceful settlement. For some reasons, it was postponed. But to my mind, Putin, this is my personal view, Putin in 1 week after started his aggression in 24 February last year, very quickly understood he did mistake and tried to do everything possible to conclude agreement with Ukraine. And Istanbul Communique, it was his personal decision to accept the text of this communique, which totally far away from the initial proposal of Russia, ultimatum proposal of Russia, which they put before the Ukrainian delegation in Minsk. So we managed to find a very real compromise. So Putin really wanted to reach some peaceful settlement with Ukraine. It's very important to remember.
Here is actual footage of when Boris Johnson flew to Kiev unannounced in early April of 2022. Johnson was on assignment from the leaders in Washington and NATO to convince Zelensky not to sign the peace deal Ukraine had just negotiated with Russia. Instead, Johnson held out the prize of future NATO membership and told Zelensky in no uncertain terms, "Keep fighting. We will support you till the end."